saying. This.
Welcome back to the Angel Clark Show on RadioFreedom.us. So I have on the line with me Dan Marks, who is a senior director in We the People Network, which is WTPnetwork.com. And he's also the president of ArticleV.org. And Article V obviously would be for the Roman numeral 5. So it's Article5.org, but the 5 is the Roman numeral. It's a legal expression of the Inter-Occupy Article 5 work group. Article5.org is not a left-wing or right-wing organization. They consider themselves as radically moderate. And their mission is to educate Americans on the reason to bring about an Article 5 convention and to apply their energy to pressure Congress to call for a convention to propose amendments to the United States Constitution, which is described in Article 5 of the Constitution. So, Dan, I want to thank you for joining me this evening. I really appreciate it. And can I get you to give me kind of a little bit of history about Article 5?
Sure can. First, let me thank you, Angel, for letting me appear on your show. It's a privilege. I appreciate the opportunity to reach out across the aisle from Occupy to those on the libertarian side of the aisle, and kind of talk about where we have some common goals and where we can work together and hopefully make some really good things happen. Now, about Article 5, why I'm here. Article 5 of the Constitution, part of the Constitution where it describes exactly how we amend the Constitution. It reads that Congress, on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states, shall call a convention for proposing amendments. Now, a lot of people out there are pretty excited about amending the Constitution, making some big changes out there. We feel that we have a coin-operated government, and it just isn't responding to the people. I think the recent SCOTUS Supreme Court rulings with Montana and Obamacare just inflamed both sides of the aisle, and it's not a very representative government anymore. So a lot of people are familiar with how Congress proposes amendments. Not many people are even aware that there's an option B in our Constitution. It is to allow the people to assemble and propose amendments. These are actual citizens that would be going to this convention, sent by each state. And the 2/3 requirement, which would be 34 states, we discovered in a recent collection of applications that the threshold has been exceeded. We trounced it. Our organization found at least 41 states with standing applications. Friends of Article 5 Convention has found over 50 applications ranging from, the strength of application from weak to strong. And they've got them all listed on their website at foabc.org. But this is a very exciting opportunity for us.
I want to kind of specify for a minute. So what you're saying is that there are numerous states right now, in fact, more than 2/3 of the states who you think would call for a convention to have the people propose amendments. Now, you said that you had some proof of that. Now, what exactly was it? For instance, how do you know that these states are up for this?
Well, they've been applying for this really since the birth of the Constitution. In fact, New York and Virginia, back in the 1700s, almost immediately sent applications to Washington, D.C. to form the convention. Ever since, there's been calls for abolition of slavery, the direct election of senators, to eliminate the electoral college, to establish right to life, balanced budget amendment, line item vetoes. The states tend to apply for this at a rate of 3 to 6 a year. And you would figure that with that rate of frequency, you would have a probability of having the required 2/3 threshold met about every 20 to 25 years, which strikes me as a very strong coincidence to the Jefferson quote where he says that we have to refresh our government every 25 years. But it seems as though we were meant to participate in our government, and Congress, as a phenomena of our Constitution, has ignored these state calls. The evidence is right there in the congressional record, which goes back to the beginning of Congress. And as these state legislatures apply for a convention, the application goes into the congressional record.
All right, now I'm looking on the website right now, and the website is articlev.org, which stands for Article 5. And I clicked on where it says indisputable state applications. And is that where the states have applied for a convention?
Correct. Those are actual scanned copies of the congressional record. The pages from the actual book in Washington,
now,
D.C.
Well, see, look, I'm looking at this, and for instance, New York's is from 1789. Now, I think
Right.
that you could say that everyone who was in office who had voted for that is probably dead by now. So how do you get those who are? Does it have to be elected officials, or is it? How does that work? How do you get people to resubmit something that's maybe more than 200 years recent?
Well, the thing is the applications don't expire. They're just like any standing law. The application is only an application for the convention. So once it's applied, it goes into the congressional record. Now, the states cannot remove it from the congressional record. Congress can't go back into the congressional record and just erase things either. Once it goes into the congressional record, it's there. Basically, you can think of it as a standing law. If we're basically held to the laws of our past generations as we move through our life. All of these applications, unless they're specified that they have a certain limit to them, sometimes a state will apply and put a 7-year limit on the application. So if Congress doesn't act, it's called the convention for that purpose. In that time, that application then expires. But if
hold on to that thought. We've got to step away, but we'll return in just a moment, and we'll pick up where we left off. RadioFreedom.us.
You're listening to The Angel Clark Show on LRN.FM, the Liberty Radio Network. Visit Angel's website at radiofreedom.us.
This is The Angel Clark Show on Radio Freedom US.
When I look at Obama, what is the one good thing I can say about Obama? He's a smoker.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, is that what you want?
Yep. I didn't invent the economy. You know, I think we're making some progress.
I'm sorry, are you addressing me? Because your authority is not recognized in Ford tickets.
The Angel Clark Show.
Welcome back to the Angel Clark Show on RadioFreedom.us. So I have on the line with me Dan Marks, who is Senior Director in We the People Network, which is WTPnetwork.com. And he's also the president of Article 5, which is articlev.org. So V is the Roman numeral 5. So Article 5 is articlev.org. Dan, I want to thank you for sticking through. I appreciate it. And you were kind of telling me a little bit about the state applications for convention, which you can find by going to articlev.org and clicking on the indisputable state applications tab right there. It's right at the top. If you want to kind of pick up where you left off, because I know that I had to cut you off there.
Oh, that's quite all right. I understand. But basically what we're talking about, the state applications, the threshold has been met. And the discovery was a recent collection of these applications by the research of Friends of Article 5 Convention, which is not my group, but another one. And they went through and found over 700 applications from all 50 states, and they range from weak to very strong. Once they found out that there was such a volume of applications, they decided to inform Congress that they had a peremptory call by the Constitution to that they must call this convention. Even Alexander Hamilton said that it's not even up for a debate. So basically, they sued Congress. This is the first time anybody has ever sued Congress. It's called Walker versus Members of Congress. And in that suit, it stopped at the Supreme Court. They refused to hear it because of separation of powers. In that trial, there was accepted into law that there had been, it was called a writ of certiorari. And it basically laid out that there have been sufficient applications for a convention that have been received and recorded into the congressional record. So now that is basically accepted as law right now. Also, they also accepted as a part of the writ that the call for the convention under Article 5 is peremptory, and that they must call the convention. And also, they had decided that when Congress does not obey the Constitution and refuses to obey Article 5 and put this call to a vote, that is a violation of the oath of office, and that they do not have the power to basically ignore the Constitution. They're held to the same law that's the highest law of the land, and they must call it. They've basically been ignoring it. It was expressed in our Declaration of Independence as the right of the people to alter or to abolish. And our forefathers had hoped that the convention would erect barriers against the encroachments of the federal government. And I think we can all agree that that's happening right now, and we're losing our rights, and that they're not obeying much of the Constitution at all.
Dan, I want to interject really quickly because you said how many states did we need? 34.
34, correct.
And we are at what is it right now? We're at 41, and it looks to me like we've been above the 34 threshold for like 20 years.
Actually, we crossed that threshold in, I believe, 1908.
Wait. We've been supposed to have this convention since 1908.
Correct. They've been ignoring it for quite some time, and that's actually how they've been able to get away with it. It was during the campaign for the direct election of senators. We exceeded it then by many states. The Congress reacted by passing the 17th Amendment, which allowed for the direct election of senators, and everybody forgot about those applications. However, that doesn't mean that those applications go away at all. Those applications are just applications, as I said. The amendments are just suggestions to the convention as to what to propose. They have no legal effect. the only legal part of the application is the application for the convention itself, which is why they don't expire, and it doesn't matter which amendments they are that they're suggesting.
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about you guys, Article5.org, which would be ArticleV.org? Can you tell me a little bit? For instance, say you have the convention. What's the next step after that? What do you guys want to see happen?
Well, to tell you the truth, once the convention call goes out, our group dissolves. We are done. We support no amendment. We as individuals have different desires, and we'd like to see different things come out of a convention. But basically, we believe that people will make the right decision. We can come together, like I said, on some basic philosophical middle ground. I think that there's a lot of people that understand that we need to end the Federal Reserve System the way we have. Separation between corporation and state is very important. But as a group, we're not supporting any particular amendment. This is merely the method to a solution. It's not the solution itself. And we just have no faith in Congress to execute exactly what we need these days, according to the people's desires. I believe, and we believe that the PACs and 1% dictate our politics of today, and it's part of the problem that we're in right now. So we believe that the voice of the people should be heard, and hopefully with We the People Network and Article5.org, we can raise the awareness that we need. We need some heroes out there, and we need to wake up the state officials and get them involved and get them to join the fight with us, because the federal government was not meant to lord over us the way it's working right now. We were supposed to be the keepers of our federal government.
Well, listen. It sounds like we haven't been the keepers of our federal government since at least 1908. I would say before that, most likely.
Right. Actually, the governor of Wyoming, I believe it was in 1903, had cited a number of applications. It must have been after 1903, but a number of applications, and counted them up. I believe it was 37 states at the time, and noted in there. I hadn't seen it in many of these applications, but it seemed like a little note to Congress that with so many states applying, and it said, look, here's Article 5. This is exactly what it says. With so many states applying, who really runs this country? Is it a government of the people anymore? And I really believe this was a part of the government that was supposed to be there. It was the closing argument of the Federalist Papers, where it said that, at the very last resort, if the federal government is so out of control and we need to rein it back in, we still have Article 5. And I believe that's what separates us today from the countries like Egypt and Tunisia, and it gives us a peaceful way to resolve these problems and change our government and make it more responsive without having to pledge our treasure and fortune.
All right. I hate to cut you off, but we've got to step away now. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Dan Marks, their website, ArticleV.org, which stands for Article 5. The Angel Clark Show will return, radiofreedom.us.